Now, the Israeli defense minister claims that a high-profile Iranian official has been killed, and this is Iran's Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Larijani. If confirmed, this will be the second most high-profile assassination after the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that Ali Larijani is dead. In a video statement, Netanyahu said that Ali Larijani and the IRGC's Basij Force commander, Ghulam Reza Soleimani, have been assassinated in this ongoing war.
This morning, we eliminated Ali Larijani. Ali Larijani is the boss of the Revolutionary Guards, which is a gang of gangsters that in practice runs Iran. Alongside him, we also eliminated the commander of the Basij, the helpers of the gangsters, who spread terror in the streets of Tehran and other Iranian cities against the population. We are operating there as well, operating from the air with Air Force aircraft and with UAVs.
All right, so that is the latest video that Netanyahu has in fact posted on his X page. Now, earlier in the day, the Israeli Defense Minister Katz announced that Larijani and Soleimani were killed in the Israeli bombings.
I have just been updated by the Chief of Staff that Ali Larijani, Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council and the head of the Basij, Iran's central repression apparatus, Ghulam Reza Soleimani, were eliminated last night and have joined Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the head of the annihilation program, along with all those eliminated from the axis of evil in the depths of hell.
And soon after the Israeli Defense Minister, Israel Katz, made this statement, a handwritten note appeared on Ali Larijani's X account. The note, shared by the Iranian state-linked media, commemorates Iranian sailors who were killed in the recent American attack, whose funeral is expected to take place today. The letter also has carried Larijani's sign in the end. Ali Larijani was last seen on Tehran streets during the Al-Quds Day parade, where he walked with thousands of common Iranians. The parade saw Iran's top leadership figures coming out amidst Israeli and American bombings on the Iranian capital, Tehran. Now, Ali Larijani is considered to be a key figure within Iran's power structure. He played an important role in putting down the January protests in Iran, and according to reports, he sidelined President Masoud Pezeshkian to lead the diplomatic, security and military operations under the direct authority of the supreme leader. Larijani is a former IRGC commander who has served in many positions within the Islamic Republic since the 1980s. After 8 years in the IRGC, he was appointed as the Minister of Culture in 1992. He then headed the official broadcast network of Iranian government for a decade. In 2005, he was appointed as the Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Council from 2008 till 2020. Now, Larijani also served as the Speaker of the Parliament. Last year, he was reappointed to the National Security Council by Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Tehran is yet to confirm Larijani's death, but Israel claims that Prime Minister Netanyahu had issued an order to assassinate Iran's top leadership. All right, now joining us on the broadcast, we've got Dr. Kadira Petyagoda, who's a geopolitics expert. He's joining us live from London. Dr. Petyagoda, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. Now, the Israelis claim that they've taken out Ali Larijani, a key figure in the counterattack that Iran has managed to take. In your assessment, if these Israeli claims are true, how much of an impact do you think Ali Larijani's killing will have on this war?
I don't think it'll have a major impact at the tactical level, because I think Iran was prepared for assassination strikes, because that's how the US operates and Israel operates. So it had diversified its command structure in terms of actually carrying out the war. And so we've got a lot of localized decision-making to ensure that the missiles keep flying no matter what happens to the political leadership. I think the relevance and the aim behind these assassinations is more about the impact on the morale of the broader population. So theoretically, believing the leadership has been killed results in the population believing that two main things, I guess. One is that their country is losing the war and that continued fighting is futile. And second, that the government is not invincible and that the people could actually rise up and facilitate a change. But I don't think this will be successful with regard to Iran, because what's happened is this has really become a people's war. So it's the majority of the public that are actually pushing the Iranian government to fight harder. And there's more likelihood of a regime change in Iran if the government actually surrenders. So what you're seeing is that no matter what kind of attacks happen, the will to fight on will likely continue, because the population sees this as a fight for not just sovereignty, but survival.
Now, this is something that military experts and analysts had always said, that in case there is a war on Iran, Iran will shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is what it did on day one of this war. But the fact is, we're now in day 18 of the war. Strait of Hormuz remains shut. And the American side has not been able to put up any kind of a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Even the allies, the closest of allies of the United States, have in fact not said that they would like to get involved and participate in reopening the Strait of Hormuz. How much of a damage do you think this is for Donald Trump in his war? And can the United States realistically get the Strait of Hormuz reopened again?
I think it's significantly damaging to Donald Trump, not just in terms of the war, but in terms of his political livelihood. He's probably going to, the Republicans will lose the midterm elections, and his legacy has already been destroyed by this, because, you know, he was actually voted in by people who didn't want any more regime change wars. I think in terms of him trying to get a coalition, that's been quite problematic, because the Europeans, again, just like the war in Ukraine, are the big losers in this. They're more dependent on Middle Eastern oil. They're worried about expanding the war. They don't want to withdraw resources from Ukraine in order to engage in another military confrontation. So I think this war is going to continue on, particularly as you've got the war aims of Israel and the United States and the war aims of Iran are mutually exclusive. Iran wants to ensure that they completely evict the United States from the Gulf. They want to change the political and strategic status quo in Israel itself to make sure they're not attacked again. On the other hand, you've got the United States, and you've got the pro-Israel donors to Donald Trump who want a complete state collapse in Iran. You've got the military-industrial complex, which wants a continuation of the war to boost military spending. And then you've got Trump's base as well, which is actually opposed to the war and which he's having to really negotiate with. So I would say 6 to 8 weeks, this war is likely to last at minimum.
Interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Kadira Pettigora, for joining us with that perspective there.